In this video, we're going to learn about creating issues. All right, so the process of creating an issue is fairly straightforward. All we need to do is come up to the Create button up here. Now, when we do this, we'll be taken to the Create Issue screen, and that's what this is called right here. Now, there's something very important to keep in mind with this, and it's kind of a trend you're probably starting to figure out here, is that this is completely customizable. So if you don't see a field that you want, reach out to your Jira administrator and they can add that for you. Or if you don't see something in here, like if you know that your team has multiple projects, but if you dial down this project drop down and you only see one project, then that would be an access thing that your Jira administrator can resolve for you. So you obviously have the project here that we just talked about. You have the issue type. So this is, there's a lot of different types of issues that you can have. Once again, completely customizable. So you can see these different ones here. So these are a few defaults. I added a custom one for feature request. And you can come in and really customize this to be whatever you want. But as an end user, you can pick from these. And then depending on which one you pick, these fields may be different. Once again, completely customizable by the Jira administrator. Just that's something to keep in mind. But when you are creating an issue, look for these little red asterisks. So really what that means is these are required fields. So you won't be able to actually create it until you actually fill out at least the required fields. That's kind of the minimum requirements to create this. Now, in this case, the summary is just the title of the issue, so it makes sense why that's a requirement. That's actually something from Jira. It needs that title to know what to call the issue. So let's say this is user wants to be able to their profile picture. There we go. So this is a user story. Because the issue type is story, I'm creating a user story for that. Maybe let's leave off a due date. Maybe a little description. Profile picture. So really, you can put whatever you want. We could kind of highlight certain things if we wanted to, bold those. So that will turn out bold when we actually submit this. We can preview it right here with this little thing right here. We can see what that's going to look like. So you can see those are bolded. And whoops, we don't want both of them. There we go. So that looks good. We can choose who to assign it to. Now, the automatic assignee, once again, is customizable by the Jira administrator. By default, it's going to go to whoever the project lead is. So whoever the project lead is on this demo project is going to get this assigned. If we choose to, we can actually set this to unassigned. We can assign it to ourselves, whatever we want. I'm going to leave this as unassigned just to see what that'll look like. We can change the priority if we wanted to. Maybe this is a low priority. And then the estimate and labels, those are fairly straightforward. We kind of talked a little bit about those. The estimate being how long do you think this is going to take? So this is obviously an estimate. It's going to be based on whoever is taking this work, but it helps to kind of determine or make better predictions in the future. If you estimate that this user story is going to take you 2 weeks to complete all the way through, and it only takes you 1 week, well, then in the next sprint, maybe you would say, well, this only took me 1 week last time, so I'm going to adjust that estimate. And vice versa. If you estimate 2 weeks and it ends up taking 3 weeks, then we know to make better estimates later on. So there's that. If there are fields that you don't see here on the Create Issue screen, you can customize this here. So this is showing all of the fields that are available to us. Once again, the Jira administrator can add or remove fields from this list. Or we can choose a custom. So let's say, I really don't need to see, I never use time tracking. I don't need to see that. So you see it's not there anymore. I don't need to see that. I never use labels. And this is then saved to your user profile. So this is just on your user profile, what this is saying here. We do want to use assignee because I wanted to set that to unassigned. All right, so good with this. Now, before we hit create, I want to point out this little checkbox right here, because if I hit create, this screen is going to go away. So as soon as I hit create, you can see it's gone away. We can jump right to that issue if we want to. But if I want to actually create multiple issues, we can do that very, very quickly. And this is actually one of my, it's a little thing, but it's one of my favorite features here in Jira, is the ability to do that right away. So let's say we want to do a feature request, and this is to upload attachments, something like that. I'm going to leave this unassigned. Let's create another one. I want another feature request, and that's going to be the ability to download attachments. So each of these, you can see we're creating these very, very quickly and able to actually do this at a fast rate. So really creating issues very quickly. It's really fast way to input data into Jira. All right, so I'm going to uncheck this, cancel out of that. And really, that's how you can create issues here inside of Jira. So let's move on to our next video, where we'll take a look at how we can then search for issues here in Jira.